Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show.
It's getting dark out on the water. You look over there, over your shoulder. On the horizon, there's so much lightning here. Doesn't it make you feel more alive? Ooh. Doesn't this make the perfect disguise? When the storm sets in, I quicken up my pace. Oh, the mark it makes, it turns us to the way. It's getting late, but I think I'll stay for a while. Don't ever change how you arrive. Won't ever make you ask me twice. Ooh. When the storm sets in, I quicken up my pace. Oh, the mark it makes, it turns us to the way. I'm done making mistakes. I'm done making mistakes. I'll let it wash away. The mark it makes, the mark it makes. Yeah, the mark it makes, the mark it makes, the mark it makes. Doesn't it make you feel more alive? Ooh. Doesn't it make
What's up, everybody? I have Hayden Calnin from beautiful, sunny Australia. We are very far apart in time right now, so we made this work finally after trying to get together. So first things first, welcome to the show, Hayden. Happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Shane. Very, very happy to be here.
So you do a lot of things when it comes to music. First and foremost, just released recently a Turning of the Tide, your latest EP. If you want, why don't you start talking about what went into making that and what kind of a passion project it was?
Yeah. Where do I start? I guess I was living in the city. Well, I was living down on the beach for about 4 years and 3.5, 4 years. And I moved back to the city briefly. And it just wasn't for me. I was just realized, okay, I'm not a city person. I'm moving back to the beach. So I got this house down on the southern coastline of Australia in this beautiful place on the Mornington Peninsula, which is the area where I kind of spent a lot of time growing up. So I know it quite well and love the beaches there and everything. So yeah, I got a house and I just converted the whole thing into a studio with just an intention to make a record there. So I kind of got this lease on this place for about 10 months and yeah, set everything up and had no idea what I was going to write about. And it kind of took a few months, I guess, of living there to even start writing. I was like spending a lot of time setting the house up correctly for, how I wanted it to feel when I was recording. Just make it really stress-free and everything ready to go and plugged in and, lots of finessing. And then I guess the inspiration came over this period. Me and my now ex-partner, we were kind of on the way out and we ended up, parting ways. So it was weirdly a sort of a breakup album that I never wanted to ever write and ended up writing one of those. Like I never thought I would do that. So that's kind of what spilt out, but it ended up being more of a kind of therapeutic album than a I'm crying about this sad end of a relationship. It was more of I'm seeing all the positives and I'm going to keep on keeping on, as they say.
Well, I'm glad you're keeping on. I
Thanks.
Absolutely loved the EP. It was
awesome.
It was fantastical and heartbreaking at the same time. So, sorry about that.
That's okay. That's life,
Yeah. Yeah. You've done a lot over your, short career, right? You're not. It's not like you've been. You're not 70 years old. Let's put it that way.
Not yet.
You've worked with some other great bands, helped writing and producing. And what kind of satisfaction do you get out of working with doing stuff like that?
Massive amounts of satisfaction. It's like with my music, it's very personal and I want to do a lot of it, but that's only good for a small amount of your brain space. I think you have to be collaborating and you have to be helping and putting what you do in other places and producing and writing for other artists and doing composing for some film and TV stuff. It's just, it really feels great and both worlds can't exist without each other. They definitely both fuel each other. I get so much satisfaction out of it and I don't ever want to stop doing that. It's fun. Yeah, it's really good.
Well, but for the fact of some things that you worked on that I absolutely love, like you worked with Woodlock, who is a band for me that listening, absolutely in love with them and couldn't be happier that, you played a part with them in some way, shape or form. And that's the kind of stuff that I love watching, falling in love with an artist such as yourself, falling in love with someone you've worked with. And it's just this whole, it's like following the crackers down the trail, that you leave behind. It is just an awesome thing to watch and be able to enjoy.
Oh, thank you, Shane. It's great. And the Woodlock boys are there. They were such a pleasure to work with. very emotional beings. It was it was really good. Yeah.
For you in your life, when did music really become a thing? Like, there's always that first musical memory, the first time you hear something and things change. I always go back. People are sick of me saying it, but I was 6 years old in the back seat of a car, kicking my legs, and all of a sudden the Beach Boys' "Little Surfer" comes on the radio, and my life changed from that moment on.
Yeah, I guess I've got something sort of similar to that. It's my earliest memories of music are like the association around my family, and mum had a few records that she'd always chuck on when people were coming round. So I always knew when we were going to have family friends over or something was going on in the house. And I remember quite distinctly, like the one that really resonated and made me pay attention to music was Counting Crows, August and Everything After, that album from so long ago now. But it just hit me. I was like, holy shit, I'm really enjoying everything about this. And I just became obsessed with music from that point. And I just, started getting gifts as like CDs from things. I started buying CDs, and it's weird to even say CD now. It's odd.
It's not that bad because my first stuff was tapes. So
oh yeah, tapes were great. I only had a few before the CD changeover. It was but I enjoyed tapes. I think I had a Mbop on tape.
The one you should have had.
Exactly. But yeah, I guess in terms of a clear direction in my head of when I knew music was kind of becoming the main focus of what I do was much, much later. I didn't start playing any instrument until I was about 14, and I just remembered that Dad had a guitar in a guitar case somewhere. So I decided I wanted to pick it up and try and be Bob Dylan or something. That was great. So that got a little taste, but I didn't take it very seriously. I just kind of got a few lessons and then started playing in some fun high school bands and things like that. And it was all metal and like very different to what I'm making now. But in that time, I loved it, and I fell in love with creating music and playing music, but never saw it as a career path, I guess. And then, I went off to uni, and I was studying film and television, and I kind of went into that thinking, I'd like to be the next Steven Spielberg or something like that. I was obsessed with cinema, and went in there, and then kind of came out fascinated and just enthralled in sound design, and just learned so much about that in the course that I was doing for film. And I just became obsessed with playing with sounds and learn all this software to kind of do it in the film world. And I just kind of started putting my kind of hobby of music into what I was studying, and then started writing songs, I guess. And no idea what happened at that point. Just film didn't go out the door, but there was an easy decision in my brain to go, nah, I want to focus on creating music and going down that path.
All right, so you skipped over something really, really quick there. So now I have to go back and ask. So you grew up playing in bands, and you said they were metal bands, which is a huge departure from what you're doing. What was the name of the very first band you were in?
Oh, shit. I think it was The Blind. No, we were called Hard Nut.
Hard Nut?
I think. Yeah. Oh. That was definitely, I'm pretty sure, the band name. And then there was another one, I think, called, holy shit, what was it called? I think The Blind Fatality, I think it was called.
Okay, that's much better than the Hard Nut, because the Hard Nut's going on our wall of shame of music band names. So.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. It was never good. We made hoodies and everything. We had it. It's ridiculous.
All right, even though it's a bad name, now I need one of those hoodies, or I need to make my own that says the Hard Nut on it. So.
Yeah, I'll do a reprint with the next merch badge.
Now, growing up, when you started to play guitar at 14, and I always find it very funny. You know, my dad also had a guitar. My mom was the piano, and I always look and I see a lot of people throughout the world and growing up that their dad always had a guitar, but he never really played, and mom always wanted you to play piano, but she never fully always played. So I always think it's hysterical hearing the same stories from so many different people, and it's like, and that made me do it because they didn't really do it. So
It's so true. My dad never played guitar, but he had one. I think he got it when he was a kid, so it's quite an old guitar. It's like I've still got it. It's a old 1970 something Yamaha. It's very cool. But yeah, he never played. I think he got it as a kid to try and learn Stairway to Heaven, and then failed, and that was it. So it's kind of just sat there. I think my eldest sister picked it up at one point. I remember she wanted to be a country singer at one point, and that it sort of inspired me to actually pick up the guitar as well out of the case. So
nice. Now, when you're growing up and you got the Counting Crows kind of pulled you into music, do you remember the first band that you kind of found on your own that you got really excited to start sharing with other people?
Maybe. Like, I guess it was probably, I didn't find it on my own, but no, I was gifted a CD, and it kind of really, no, okay, I'm going to try and answer this correctly. The first band that I discovered on my own, probably this Finnish metal band called Him, which I think I saw it in a CKY video or something, which if no one knows what that is, it's ridiculous and don't go watch it. But it was just some show that existed, or DVD that existed back in the day. But yeah, there's this Finnish band, and I became absolutely obsessed. I was probably like 15 or something like that, and I was getting big into metal, and this was like pop love metal, I think they called it, and became absolutely obsessed. Wanted to get a tattoo and everything, but didn't.
Are you thankful you didn't get that tattoo?
Oh yes, very thankful. Yeah, not that there's nothing wrong with them. I just definitely kind of am glad I didn't get their little logo tattooed on my body.
Now, growing up and getting into music, and I know for me, it's always, I love to find out how things matriculate in other countries. And when it comes to getting into music, falling in love with music, and then being able to go see it live for the first time, do you remember maybe your first concert that maybe someone took you to? And then do you remember the first one that you got to choose to go to?
I think the first concert I took myself to was actually a CKY concert. When they came to Melbourne, it was like an underage show, and me and some buddies went, and it was the most amazing thing ever. It's like, holy shit, this shit is loud, and it's right there, and I've been idolizing these musicians for ages, and then they're right in front of you. I do remember that feeling of just being kind of overwhelmed and feeling like I was very grown up that I got to go to this gig. But maybe the first concert that I got taken to, I actually don't remember. I don't think it's in there. Maybe mum and dad never took me to a concert. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, so they either didn't take you, or it was so bad that your brain was like, okay, I'm just going to remove this for something good.
I think that might be it. They might have taken me to something. I mean, I definitely maybe saw the Wiggles when I was a tiny little child. But I don't know if that counts.
No, it kind of counts because I Jimmy Eat World did a song with the Wiggles, so I mean they kind of count.
True.
They kind of count.
Yeah, they're a big deal.
Yeah, they're kind of a big deal.
They're kind of a big deal, exactly.
When it comes to your music and writing and creating and doing all these things, and I want to give the listeners here something to focus on. So if no one had ever heard of the music that you've made for yourself, what song of yours would you play for them that best describes who you are as an artist?
Oh, good question, Shane. It would be something off the record, What It Means to Be Human, for sure. That was the first body of work that I did that felt like a proper body of work. I was really happy with it or something. I didn't feel like it needed any alterations after I finished it, which was a new feeling. So definitely something off that record. And if I had to pick a song, it would probably be the track In the Beginning off that record. I think that summarizes the textures and kind of storytelling that I'm doing mostly, I would say.
And what brought you to your style of creation and storytelling? Was it something that you focused on, or did it just come organically when you started the whole creation process?
Yeah, definitely organically. I never felt with lyric writing, at least, it's always felt rather casual, and I don't try to get too cryptic or overcomplicate it, but I also don't want to make it too personal. So it's trying to sit it somewhere in there, and that style of writing has always been, kind of is built up naturally. With the music, it's a little bit different. I'm influenced by so many different genres, but I think the thing that keeps shining through is my love for classical and film scores and like emotional big cinematic pieces. I've always been a huge fan of I guess movie scores. They're just like the visual meets the audio and how they just work together. So a lot of the writing I do, I actually kind of have visual stimulation kind of going on around the room while I'm writing, because it certainly helps guide your brain somewhere.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I just had this conversation on my last interview where, I look at movies and music are so closely put together, because when I hear a song, the first thing my head does is create the music video in my head, because it's a short story, and it's looking at it on that cinematic view. It brings a whole new, aspect to the song, and it just feels that much more grandiose.
Oh, absolutely. Could not agree with you more.
Sorry, excuse me.
Oh, it's fine.
Now, pulling from so many different places and having so many different influences in your life, there's sometimes a band or an artist that you constantly go back to, especially when you're not, feeling good, or even when you are feeling good. And you can always go back to that artist or band, and they just constantly never let you down. And it's something that you can always feel like a warm blanket wrapped around you when you listen to them. Do you have any artists or bands in your life that never let you down, that you can constantly turn to when you need something in your life musically?
Yeah, absolutely. I have records from certain artists that I always come back to. One of those big ones is definitely Rumours by Fleetwood Mac. That will always be a happy place for me. So I listen to it all the time. Leif Vollebeck, who is a Canadian artist, French-Canadian artist, he has an album called Twin Solitude. That is probably my most important album. I listen to it so regularly, and every time I listen to it, I hear a little thing more, or I pay attention to one song more than I have in the past, and you just keep picking up these little things. It's just such a well written album, very lyrical journey, which is really beautiful. And then the other one is probably this Australian band that I grew up with, listening to, and they were called Powderfinger, and they were,
I remember them,
kind of a bit Ah, cool, great.
Yeah.
That's wicked. Because in Australia, there's like, not a running joke, but there's like it's kind of like, oh, we always wish that they were this band that broke the overseas market because they were so great and everyone
I
loved
think
them
they
here.
did at some point. I
Um,
think they had a single, and because I remember the CD of having it, so at some point they
oh, that's
definitely
great.
broke the market. I don't think it was handed to me. I think I went out and actually bought it. So they definitely had to hit something over here.
That is so good to hear. Yeah, their album Odyssey Number 5 was just it just reminds me of so many good memories. It was always in the car when me and my family were driving anywhere. It was just that album just constantly played over and over and over. So I love listening to that record as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah, you live in an extremely large country with huge pockets of nothing in between, and
Hmm.
and I always find it fascinating because for some reason when it comes to once I hear music from a certain place, I just go dive all in. And my two biggest places for always finding music and being completely blown away at the awesome stuff that comes out from something, one country is really small, Scotland. I am big on tons of Scottish bands, and the other one is
Hmm.
Australia. I've found so many bands from Australia, and it's
Hmm.
a huge country, but it's just small pockets of population, right? And it's amazing
Correct.
to see how amazing stuff can come from other parts of the world. This is just being that naive person to not think of how large the world is, right? And
Hmm.
but all the music that's out there, and Australia has been one of those places that as soon as if I read something in a magazine or online and it says Aussie band, the first thing I do is I'm like, all right, I'm in. Let's go. Let's see what's coming out of there now.
It's Australia's you're right. It's a huge place, and not many people.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what it is that there's so much good music coming out of here, and so much music that isn't coming out of here that should be coming out of here. There's the local scenes in music, and like the big cities here is just phenomenal. It's unlike anywhere I've really seen, especially like the city that I'm in, Melbourne. Its music scene is just always been thriving, and it's really pushed a lot of, I don't know, like really amazing bands to come out of these pockets because it's just such an amazing community. So I think it's that. I think it's just we're a small country, or we're a big country, but a small population, and we must be really bored, and we just want to make art or something.
And it's also one of those things too that you look at something so far away, because I think you and I are 15 hours apart, and it's always one of those things that I kind of look at it as, how did the music get there? Especially when there's so many different
Yeah.
genres and so many people pull from things. So, and prior to the digital age, there were still awesome bands coming out of there. And it's like, how did they get into black metal? How did they get into emo? How did they get into punk rock? And I just always found it so fascinating because it really is. It's that naive mind that it's like, it's a big world, but it's a small world. And especially music has
Yeah.
that universal language that attaches us all together, and just
Hmm.
being able to concentrate and watch that and focus on that, because that's what I do. I focus on the music from a certain country at a time, and I'm just always blown away.
Yeah.
And it's like, how the fuck did they know how to do that in a song? It's like, well, it's because they're extremely fucking talented, and they're working really hard at being a great band.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's something about Australia that really, I think, you kind of clued onto it a bit, is that it is so big and diverse. It's like we have so many different climates because it's so large. So we've got rainforest, we've got desert, we've got, very cold, snowy parts. We've got like just where, really close down towards Antarctica where it's getting kind of the ozone layer is getting a little bit skinny and you get burnt, even though it's like, very cold. It's a strange place. And I think it does inspire a lot of really big thoughts and art projects. think we're kind of spoilt with our landscape.
And in just creating the breakup album, do you think moving forward you're going to focus more on some more positive things?
Oh yeah. In fact, it's funny you say that. So there's a second side to this last EP that I put out, and the second side is a very positive, side to which is going to be a record when it kind of all comes together. It's like you'll hear it soon. It's
Okay.
It's yeah. There is
Good,
some happiness in there. Don't worry.
Good, because I need something to mop up the tears. So
all right. Yeah. I promise to deliver the mop.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, other than creating your own music and helping other bands, what is it that you get full enjoyment out of when it comes to music? What is it that brings you and keeps you engaged at all times?
I have no clue, Shane. I don't know.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, it's something I'm doing, and it's great that I can just do it. So I'm really appreciating the fact that I get things out of it, and people get things out of it, and I get to talk to people on the other side of the world about this exact thing. It's so bizarre that I don't know what else I really would do. So I'm not sure what the drive is, but it's a job that doesn't feel like a job. So I'm kind of happy in that space.
Do you have a moment in your life that is just solely attached to music, like this just musical memory of you could have been playing somewhere or something, but you just have this full feeling and can always go back to that moment that is surrounded by music that, for good or bad, will never leave your head?
Yes, I do. It's probably the first. I think it was the first or second gig that I ever played in front of an audience, and it's a big memory in my head. But it's also one of the biggest blurs in my head because it kind of went really. I don't know. I felt like I did this performance and people received it or something, and that was the first time. I guess I was like, "Oh shit, music's powerful," and that has really resonated and stayed with me. And it's like it's just one of many musical moments that have stuck with me. But I don't know if it's over encapsulating in the sense of what you're asking, in terms of like massive musical memory, but it's close.
Is there a moment that you had to force yourself to perform when you didn't want to?
Oh yeah, all the time. Absolutely. Yeah. It happens every tour for sure. There'll be days where you just don't really want to get up there, but you have to kind of shake it off and do it. Sometimes they end up being great gigs too. They kind of pull you out of that headspace that you're in. But yeah, definitely. I think that's goes with any job.
You have a tour that you hold in high esteem, either because of who you were traveling with or who you were playing with at the time, that you just always say, at this point in my career, that was the best time, even though the best is still yet to come. Do you have something that stands out that you just remember for all the good of it?
Yeah, definitely. First one that popped into my head was I did a tour just around Germany. I wanted to do. I'm of German heritage, so I kind of have a weird fascination, and I like going and being in Germany whenever I'm traveling in Europe and stuff. So I decided to do a German tour, and yeah, my dad had never been overseas before. And I was like, fuck, this is a great opportunity to just force my dad to see that the world's a bigger place and there's like countries elsewhere on the globe. So I kind of just said, hey, Dad, let's go. You're going to come on tour with me. You're going to lug my shit and it's just going to be you and me and we're going to travel around Germany. How do you feel? And he said yes. So I took my dad on this amazing tour, and the tour was fantastic. I got to play some incredible shows and festivals and did all these cool things, and I got to spend it with my dad. And that was like eye-opening for him because he was just like, oh shit, okay, the world is big. This is awesome. And it was also just a really nice bonding tour experience. It was very different to any other tour I've ever done. Sharing hotels with your dad and just getting really drunk. It was good fun.
No, I when you said that, it's almost like I almost welled up a little bit because those are the moments that stand the test of time. And those are things that, if they didn't happen, could be, one of those regrets in life. And I mean, that's just a beautiful, that to have that as your favorite trip is amazing because for some reason we're not on this earth for a very long period of time, even though sometimes it feels like it. But to have a memory like that for the rest of your life, no one can ever take that away from you, and that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Shane. Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely beautiful, burnt in memory.
Okay, so how about the worst memory when it comes to music?
Oh, I haven't really had too many. I've had like shit clients. Where
we all have those. We all
know.
Have.
So it's that's kind of it. Like I haven't really had any bad times. I've not in music. I've met some people that ended up being really shit people through music. That's maybe the worst things that I can think of. But no, I'm a pretty happy guy, Shane.
That's great. That's what we need. We need more happiness, and not the sad breakup-y stuff all the time. So
that's right.
But hey, listen, music morphs life, right? You always take from experiences and what you're currently going through. And that, that's also an amazing ride as a listener to sit back and watch someone's life, through their music and be like, oh shit, sorry. And then be like, oh yeah, no, he's back. He's good. He's better. And then, that's just how it works.
Yeah. It's therapeutic. It's a very therapeutic exercise. I like it.
What music would you, especially if someone started listening to your music, what kind of music do you listen to that people be extremely surprised that you get tons of enjoyment out of listening to?
Probably something like, I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan. So
all right, I think we're all Swifties at some point.
That's it,
It's one of those things where I've told this story that, when her last album recently dropped and me and my friend, I said, I don't know when you would ever see two men in their late 40s, standing around and being like, yo, did you listen to the new Taylor Swift album? And me going, fuck yeah, it's awesome, right? I never thought that would be a part of my life that would be, happening. But it does. But when music's good, it's good, and you can't deny it. So
I agree. It's like it's amazing what you can connect with. Yeah, maybe in a band that might surprise people is Cradle of Filth or Slayer. I'm big into some, still into some heavy stuff.
Well, I mean, coming from the hard nuts, you have to still be into some heavy stuff.
That's right. It lingers. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe the next album might be something a bit upbeat.
That would be awesome.
With double kick.
Now he's just angry. He's not sad. He's just angry now. What's right. going on, Hayden? All right, so the world's going to end in 5 minutes. This is a hypothetical. It's not truly going to end, so don't get scared. But meteor's going to crash into the earth. You have 5 minutes to listen to one song before you go out. What song are you going to listen to?
Whoa. Just one.
Well, you only got 5 minutes, so.
Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of got to be under 5 minutes because you wouldn't want it to not finish. You wouldn't.
Yeah, it's not Stairway to Heaven like your dad never learned to play, but.
Oh shit. Yeah, I can do this. This would probably. Wow. Big question.
This is hard-hitting journalism at its finest, so.
Yeah, I almost want to say it would be Wait by M83 but that's probably over 5 minutes, so I don't know if I can pick that one.
Isn't every M83 song over 5 minutes?
Exactly. I'll have to skip it. Skip the intro. Or the second part of the song. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe something happy. The world's ending. So maybe a Counting Crows song, actually.
Okay.
A classic. Mr. Jones would be great.
All right.
Happy to go out on Mr. Jones.
Yeah, because you're going to be screaming the lyrics at the top of your lungs anyway. So
that's right. Sha la 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 la. Straight at that meteorite. It's going to be great.
If you could have been a part of a band throughout history, what band would you have loved to have been a part of?
Probably pretty generic answer, but I would say the Beatles.
That is a pretty generic answer.
Yeah. I never really listened to the Beatles growing up, but I got into them in my 20s and just got really obsessed for a little while, and then that, I don't know if you've seen that documentary that came out recently on Disney.
On Disney,
yeah. And it was really interesting watching their writing process for, obviously that was a time in their life, but I was seeing so many parallels between what they were doing in their writing sessions as what I do in one of the projects that I'm involved in. I'm in this project called OK Moon with a bunch of other Australian artists, and watching them do those writing was like watching us. We were like, because when we were writing, we were arguing and we were fighting for bits and but also really together and focused. And so I would like to do that, but in a period where there's no internet.
Well, I mean,
it would be nice.
that is the part too where I always, going to some of the stuff, like with so many songs being uploaded, it's 60,000 a day or whatever, or maybe even more now, that get uploaded to Spotify on a daily basis. Do you find it? I mean, I see that it's easier and harder to stay, above the white noise. But do you, when creating music and releasing music, do you take all that into account, especially in today's new business landscape of the music industry?
I don't. I should, but I don't. I kind of let my team do all of that. I just I waited for a team that I could work with, like a label that I could work with, and that would let me just make what I want to make, and then they can take care of all of that side of it. And I trust them a lot. So I think I've chosen to opt out of that. I'm terrible. I'm terrible at all the social things. I'm just I find it so hard and challenging to keep up with the amount that other people are trying to put into their branding and and just sharing what they do. And I can't. It's so bad for my brain. So I just let other people take care of that.
Well, you're lucky to have a team, because it is, I mean, just watching it, it's very complicated and I don't understand it. I talk all the time, I'll hear a song and I'm like, wow, this is a fucking amazing song. And I go and try to find more stuff from the artist, then they only have 2 other singles, and that's it that's out there. And I'm like, I'm like, this is because I need more. I do the dive in, like, you know, and I need to hear everything that artist has done. And I always love starting at the beginning and going to, you know, what brought me into them in the first place. And I love taking that ride. And it's so hard nowadays, especially for me, who's always searching for music. You know, we have a show called Hidden Tracks because we're trying to find that music that we want to keep above the white noise, and we want to keep above things that are force fed to people. Like, no offense, but Taylor Swift is force fed to people, even though she's fantastic. But I want to find that next Taylor Swift that needs a chance to be above and not be, you know, who doesn't have that huge team behind them always pushing them along the way.
Yeah, it's so important to find your people, and it's so hard as well. So yeah, things like this, Shane, are just like so appreciated for, you know, getting, you know, discovery of anything that you have is so important. It feels really special no matter what it's in. It's a nice feeling.
Well, it's you take ownership, you know, you take that ownership, and it almost gives me that huge thing. I was just, you know, yesterday I was in the car for 5.5 hours driving home from somewhere, and all of a sudden I picked a band I wanted to listen to, and then all this amazing music came through, and all I do is take screenshots, you know, of the music that's playing at the time on my phone. And then I'm like, now I have 30 new bands that I get to dive into that I've never heard of before. And I'm like, it's like the best part of my day.
It's pretty amazing, huh? There is so much, and I always think of it as like, there's always, you haven't listened to your favorite band yet. You still haven't listened to them. You still haven't found them. They're out there, and maybe you'll never hear it. You'll never hear the song that will resonate with you the most, or a band or whatever. There is so much. We are so spoiled.
Well, I hope that never happens, because I feel like it's happened a lot to me where at that time I'm like, oh, they're my favorite band. They're not my favorite band. They're my favorite band today. You know, today and now. Correct. Like that's where I'm at. And then I always have that problem when someone asks me, you know, what's your favorite band? I'm like, well, I can give you my top 112 that I love, and then we can go from there.
Yeah. Your top playlist of full discoveries. I love that you're an album listener. I think that's awesome, Shane.
Well, because it's a story, right? And I grew up in that. You know, I'm an old man, and I grew up in that storytelling sequence of an album. Because also, you know, you brought up CDs, and when CDs were coming out, if you saved up really hard to go out and buy a CD because you liked 1 or 2 songs you may have heard on the radio as a kid, and the rest of the album sucked, you had no other choice but force yourself to listen to the entire thing and be like, find some other redeeming factors of that album. So, and we don't have that anymore, because after 2 seconds of hearing a song, you can just skip.
That's it. I miss it. I miss it a lot. I miss my CD player and my CD collection and my folders of burnt CDs.
I was going through them the other day here. It was so hysterical. I had, you know, my book. I still have a 6 CD changer, you know, hooked up to my stereo. I still have my tape deck. I still have my record player, and I have all the formats to listen to. But I'm like, look at all these CDs that for some reason are not written on. And so I don't know what they are. So the discovery of why I had certain things, like one of them was Marilyn Manson. I'm like, I've never listened to Marilyn Manson. Why do I have a burned CD of Marilyn Manson with nothing written on it? I'm like, I never even liked them. I'm like, this is weird. And then I found myself, I listened to the entire fucking thing, and I was like, uh-oh, do I like this?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like, it's changed a lot, and much respect for having all of the, you know, CD players and tape players at your disposal still. I think that's so good.
I'm a pack rat, and I'm an organized pack rat. So I have all my CDs, all my tapes, all my vinyl, all my 7 inches, and I just constantly, whenever I get a chance, just sit down in my chair in the studio and throw something on. And that was last week was a funny week of discovery of the CDs that weren't written on. It's like finding old VHS tapes that aren't written on, and you're really scared to put them in a VCR and see what's recorded or what's on there. It's like playing roulette.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
So you already spoke a little bit too of maybe some happiness or the Tissue album coming out to wipe up our tears. But is there anything else that you're working on or looking forward to coming up that you're really excited for?
Yeah, I'm about to start writing the next body of work, and I'm feeling really inspired at the moment, which is really nice. So I'm really eager to get going and start while it's here. I just got back from a trip over to Colombia. I was working on a documentary over there, and I came back with this whole new lease on life, and I really want to channel it and put it out there. So who knows what the next thing will be, but I know I'm feeling good, really positive about something that doesn't exist yet. So maybe it'll be okay.
Can you tell us what the documentary is going to be about, or we keep that?
I am under NDA, so I can tell you what the name of it, and there's a season of it already. It's a show called Phenomenology, and it's about these. The first season was about this mountain called La Pena de Huayca, which is in the Tabio region of Colombia, and it's known for its earth lights, or lights that come out of this mountain, and all the locals see these these like big balls of plasma kind of peeking through this mountain summit. And they basically went to investigate and figure out what was going on that mountain, and try and capture these things on film. And then the second season is on a much broader scale of that kind of phenomenon, but around the whole country, because Colombia it's enriched in their culture, all that crazy stuff in the sky.
Well, I can see where you're drawing inspiration from then, because that sounds like inspiring. And a trip to somewhere to see something cool and what you don't know about is, if you can't draw inspiration from that, then I don't know where you're going to get it from.
Yeah, you're missing the point, I think.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I was just on this crazy, I was up in the mountains all the way up north in the state of Maine, and I'm going over this. Amazing. It's called the Kalamatucca Pass or whatever, over White Mountain, and it's May here, and I'm reaching the top of the mountain, and it's snowing. There's hairpin turns, and I'm just like, all right, my inspiration right now is, kind of not to die. Driving over this 35-mile pass of a mountain, and then all of a sudden just some clarity when I made it around that first hairpin turn, and I was like, okay. And just getting it, having that inspiration for life again is just it's so fulfilling.
Yep, those moments are so important. Hey, they really they linger, they stick around. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Anything with that ends in the word pass, is like an epic achievement.
Oh, as soon as I made the turn and it says entering the pass, I was like, oh, and then I saw it said like 35 miles on the GPS. I was like, this is going to be interesting. And it was beautiful and scary and everything I would have thought it would be. And I'm like, when I was done, I was like, all right, I'm better now. And I was like, I kind of want to do that again at another time.
Oh yes, it's addictive.
Well, listen, I've enjoyed our talk. I don't want to keep you very long. Took us a little while to get together. Plus, it's really early over here. So
you need some breakfast.
Yeah, no, I definitely need to eat. Waking up and going right into an interview, I'm like, wow, that's like crazy. It's not the first time I've done it. You're not the first Australian artist that I've had to, work 15, 16 hours apart before. But before I get you out of here,
I appreciate you getting up early for this, Shane.
Listen, if it was somebody else, I may not have done it. So, consider yourself lucky.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you.
Yeah. I'd like to give you this opportunity to tell everybody how to find what it is you're doing, even though you have a team behind you. I'm sure you have to let people know how they can find all your stuff. We're gonna, shout you out to the mountaintops next time I go over that pass. I'll be screaming your name over it so people can find you, because I'm not the biggest wizard on social media stuff either. But if you tell everybody right now how to find all your stuff.
Yeah, easy. Pretty much all my handles are at Hayden Calnin, and that's spelled HAYDENCALNIN. And I'm on pretty much everything. I'm weirdly on TikTok, but I don't use it, so don't really bother with that one. But I'm present.
I have a TikTok. I'm not on TikTok.
That's it. It's too much. It's just too much. But I'm on Instagram. I'm pretty social and try to respond as much as I can on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, but I hate Facebook, so I don't look after that. So if you want to chat or just reach out and share some love and share some things, I would say head to Instagram or YouTube. I have lots of weird videos on YouTube that some of them I hate and I can't get rid of. Some of them I love and I won't get rid of. So, you can get a good visual representation there. But, Spotify, that's kind of the main hub. You can get onto everything via my Spotify.
Well, we're coming into our final segment. It is our weekly threes, so I'll probably give you a second to pull up your own Spotify. But if you want to give out 3 things you're listening to right now that you'd like people to check out. It can be new, it can be old, but whatever 3 things you're listening to that you'd like to have people check out.
Okay. I will pull up my Spotify because let's do this right. Okay. So currently I am listening to Here we go. Okay, so I've been obsessed, apparently, with this song, Through the Eyes of a Child by Aurora, who I think is a Finnish artist. But that's, for some reason, I've been playing that a lot, and it's a great song. Let's pick 2 others, shall we? Yes. There's a great cover by an artist called Ainsley Wills of Two Strong Hearts. Everyone should go listen to that because it sends kind of shivers down my spine every time I listen to that. And then the other big track that is always getting played, I think I've listened to it every day for the last well over a year, is Earthbound by Hale Acre, Low Swimmer, and Jemima Coulter. Their collaborative thing that they're doing, everyone should be around that if you're into music that eats you alive. Emotionally and physically. I'm scared and inquisitive at the same time. So I'm in on that. Yeah, that's a great one. It hits you in all the feels. Makes you smile, makes you cry. It's got all the bits that you need, I think.
Well,
except double kick.
It doesn't have the hard nuts on it, so
it doesn't. Not yet.
Okay,
we'll get them. We'll get them collabing.
Awesome. Good 3. Excited to check that out. My 3 for this week. My first one is a band called Sunsleeper. The name of the album is While You Can. They're an indie rock band from Salt Lake. Number 2 is a band called the Barstool Preachers. The name of the album is Above the Static. They're UK power, pop, punk, indie, emo, rock and roll, country. I'm just going to list all the genres. They just They do what they do, and they do it well. And last but not least, and I don't really know how to say the name, but I'll spell it. It says Adjy, but it's ADJY. And the name of the album is the Iliad Opus 1 through 4. And they're an indie rock band, and I don't know how I found them. I don't know what happened, but I fell in love with it. So those are my 3 for this week.
Amazing. I'm going to check them out.
Please do.
What great band names too.
Yeah.
What was the middle band name?
The Barstool Preachers.
Yeah. Wow.
Little better than the Hard Nuts.
Yeah, just
slightly. But Hayden, thank you so much for being here this week, and thank you for what it is you do as an artist, and giving us everything you have in your music, and giving us something to listen to, fall in love with, find some of ourself in it. So, truly and honestly, thank you so much for what it is you do, because for what you do, it carries me on to the next artist. So I want to thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you so much, Shane. I really appreciate having a chat. It's been really lovely.
Well, everybody, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Hayden Calnin, and have a great fucking time.
Well, I saw it in the back of your eye. They would wander, caught it in your sight. And now I notice in the back of your heart a little distance. I'm feeling it's alright. If it's time for leaving us behind, to be honest, it's never the time. To be honest, I'm terrified. A little moment in the back of my mind, some more distance, but I'm feeling it's alright. If it's time it's alright. If it's time for leaving us behind, it's alright.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.